Jai Hind student, my name is Pardeep and I am working as an assistant professor in IT department in Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Today we will discuss the subject basics of database management system and the subject code is KOE 067. So today's topic is generalization, specialization and aggregation. So today we will discuss what is generalization, what is specialization and what is aggregation. So we will discuss one by one. First one is generalization. So generalization is like a bottom up approach. So it is a bottom up approach, means we go from bottom to top, okay, in which two or more entities of lower level combine to form a higher level entity if they have some attribute in common. This is very important. If they have some common attribute, okay, two or more entities, suppose there are three entities, okay, there are three entities, 1 2 3, and they have some common attribute, okay, then they combine one entity. In generalization, an entity of higher level can also combine with entity of the lower level to form a further higher level entity, okay. Suppose what it means, suppose we have two entities, three entities, okay, these suppose four entities. These two entities make one higher level entity, okay, and these two entities combine another higher level entity. So this is the meaning of this point, okay. In generalization, an entity of higher level, so this is higher level entity, this is higher level entity, combine to form a further higher level entity. Generalization is more like subclass and superclass system, but the only difference is the approach, okay. Generalization is a bottom up approach, okay. So here these lower level entities, is the subclass, okay. These all lower level entities, and these higher level entities is the superclass, for this subclass, okay. And these are subclass, these entities are subclass for this higher level entity. So these are subclass, okay, and this is superclass, okay. In generalization, entities are combined to form a more generalized entity, that is, subclasses are combined to make a superclass. So here these subclasses are combined, these are the subclasses, these are combined and they form the superclass, they form this superclass, okay. And these superclass are combined, okay, to form a higher level superclass, okay. This superclass is subclass with respect to higher superclass. So let's take one example. Faculty, there is faculty entities and there are student entities. These entities can be generalized and create a higher level entity person, okay. So there are two entities, there is one entity faculty and there is another entity student. So generalization is a relationship. Generalization is a relationship. So it is a relationship. Okay, generalization is a relationship. Okay, they form the higher level entity person. Okay, so faculty is also a person, faculty is a person, student is a person. So this is generalized. We write the entities in more generalized form in generalization. Okay, so let's take one more example. Suppose I write one entity car, another entity bike. Okay, so these entities are combined. So generalization is a relationship. So these entities are combined, bike, car and bike, and form a higher level entity. Suppose vehicle. Okay, so this is the example of generalization. It is a bottom up approach. We go from bottom to top. Okay, it is a bottom up approach. Okay, so this is generalization. Next is the specialization. So specialization is a top down approach. It is opposite to the generalization. Okay, in specialization, one higher level entity can be broken down into two lower level entity, two or more. Okay, specialization is used to identify the subset of an entity set that shares some distinguished characteristics. Okay, in what we will do in specialization, suppose we have some higher level entity. Okay, we have some higher level entity. So we broken up these into some subclasses or lower level entity. Okay, so generalization is a bottom up approach, but specialization is a top down approach. So we go from top to bottom. Okay, we go from top to bottom. Right, suppose let's take some simple example. Okay, suppose okay, suppose I write vehicle same as. Okay, so vehicle, for vehicle, so car is also a vehicle. Okay, and bike is also a vehicle. So it is similar to generalization, but it is opposite to generalization. Okay, it is a top down approach, but generalization is a bottom up approach. Next, normally the superclass is defined the first, and the subclass and its related attribute are defined next. And then relationships set are then added. Okay, so this is all about specialization. So let's see the example. So here employee is an entity. It is broken up into two smaller entities, two subset, that is tester and developer. So employee is a tester and employee is a developer also. So it is a top down approach. We go from top to bottom. Okay, so in an employee management system, employee entity can be specialized as tester or developer based on what role they play in the company. Okay, what role they play in the company. Suppose let's take one more example for this specialization. Suppose we have one course BTech. Okay, we have one course BTech. So we have different specialization in BTech. Okay, so CSC is one of the specialization. Okay, in BTech. Civil engineering is one of the specialization. Next, information technology is one of the specialization. Mechanical engineering is one of the specialization. So this is also an example of specialization. So it is the super class or top class, it is the subclass or lower class. So it is a top to down approach. We go from top to bottom, top to bottom. So it is a top to bottom approach. Okay, or top to bottom, or you also can write top to down approach. Okay, so this is specialization. Next see the aggregation. In aggregation, the relation between two entities, suppose we have two entities and is treated as single entity. Okay, in aggregation, relation with its corresponding entities aggregated into a higher level entity. So the relation between two entities is treated as single entity. Okay, in aggregation, relationship with its corresponding entity is aggregated into a higher level entity. So what it means? So let's take one example. Suppose we have one entity, it is related with some entity. Okay, suppose this is entity 1 and this is entity 2 and this is relation R1. Okay, and these entities are related such that they can be aggregated. So these two entities are combined and treated as one entity. So in relation between two entities is treated as single entity. So these two entities, this is entity 1 and this is entity 2. These two entities is treated as one single entity. One single entity. They are combined. Okay, and there is some entity 3. Okay, fine. So these are connected like this. There is relation R2. Okay, so these two entities are combined or aggregated and treated as one single entity. Okay, let's see one example. Suppose, okay, just combine this relationship. Okay, combine this relationship. Now let's see the example. Center entity, there is one entity center and there is one entity course. So center offers some course, fine, and visitor inquire the center or course both simultaneously. Visitor does not inquiry center individually or course individually. He inquiry both the things, both the center and the course. So center entity offer the course entity act as a single entity in the relationships. Okay, center entity offer the course. So these entity, so this center entity and course entity treated as single entity. So this is treated as single entity. Center entity related with course entity through offer relationship. Now visitor entity is treated these two aggregated entity as single entity, and it is related with this entity through inquiry course. So these two relationships are related like this. So here center entity offer the course entity act as a single entity in the relationship, which in a relationship with another entity visitor. In real world, if a visitor visit a coaching center, then he will never inquire about the course only. Okay, he will never inquire about only course, just about the center. Okay, he will inquire both. Okay, instead he will ask the inquiry about the both the center and the course, that what is the center, okay, and what are the course offered by the center. So he will inquire both. Suppose let's take one more example. So suppose there is you can say you can visit some showroom. Okay, you can visit some showroom. Okay, and in showroom there are different brands of, you can say, items. Okay, so these two entities are connected through a relationship. So this showroom has different brands of item. Okay, different brands of item. Okay, so there is one customer who visit the showroom. So he will never ask only about the showroom, he will ask about the different brand item also. So these two entities are combined, so he will inquire the both. Okay, he will inquire the both. Okay, he will ask about showroom also, that what showroom and what are the different item of that particular brand are available in the showroom. Okay, so this is all about, you can say, generalization. So in generalization it is a bottom-up approach, a specialization is a top-down approach, and this aggregation, in this we combine two entities and treated these two entities as a single entity. So this is all about generalization, specialization and aggregation. Thank you.